Hey folks, it's Dr. Christine here, and today I want to talk about something that affects every part of our lives, our brain health, because your brain influences far more than memory alone. It affects your mood, your energy, your focus, your motivation, your stress resilience, your sleep, your emotional regulation, your clarity of mind, your relationships, and even how you experience daily life itself. And yet, many people only begin thinking seriously about brain health after they start struggling with things like brain fog, burnout, poor sleep, anxiety, emotional overwhelm, fatigue, low motivation, memory concerns, or feeling mentally exhausted all the time. So, in this video, I want to walk through some of the foundational principles that support brain health naturally, not from a fear-based perspective, not from a perfect optimization brain hack perspective, but from a calm, whole person, evidence informed perspective that helps us to better understand how the brain actually functions within real human life. Because the brain does not exist in isolation. Brain health is deeply connected to sleep, to stress, to nutrition, to movement, to relationships, to inflammation, to nervous system regulation, to purpose, and the overall way we live. And increasingly, modern neuroscience is confirming something that many holistic traditions understood long ago. The brain and body are deeply interconnected. I've been thinking about the questions why people feel so stressed out in our modern world. And I think that one of the biggest problems today is that many people are living in environments that constantly overloads their nervous systems. We live surrounded by stress, noise, constant stimulation, information overload, poor sleep, ultra-processed foods, social pressure, fear-based media, sedentary lifestyles, and chronic emotional tension. And the human brain was not designed to function optimally under relentless stress all day long. Just as pure willpower, brute force, and trying to white knuckle our way through life eventually exhausts us. Constant nervous system overload slowly drains mental and emotional resilience too. And over time, people may begin experiencing symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, irritability, poor concentration, low motivation, anxiety, emotional exhaustion, depression, or burnout. Now, of course, these symptoms can have many different causes and should not simply be self-diagnosed. But increasingly, we are recognizing that lifestyle patterns profoundly affect brain function over time. So now let's talk about stress and the nervous system. Because one of the biggest factors affecting brain health today is chronic stress. And when I say stress, I do not simply mean feeling busy. I mean living in a constant state of internal pressure and nervous system activation. And here's why that matters. When the brain perceives ongoing stress or danger, the body activates survival pathways. You may know this as a fight or flight response. Stress hormones rise, sleep often worsens, inflammation may increase, digestion can become dispersed, and over time, emotional resilience often decreases. Many people today are already living in a state where the nervous system never fully feels safe enough to rest and recover, and eventually the brain itself becomes exhausted. That is one reason nervous system regulation matters so much. Not because we can eliminate all stress from life, we don't want to do that, but because human beings need moments of rest, of safety, of connection, of meaning, of quiet, and of recovery in order to function well emotionally and cognitively. Sometimes healing begins very gently, learning to slow down, reducing overload, creating healthier boundaries, allowing rest without guilt, learning how to calm and regulate the nervous system instead of constantly driving ourselves harder and harder. Now, sleep is another foundation pillar of brain health, and honestly, many people underestimate how profoundly sleep affects the brain. Because during sleep, the brain consolidates memory, supports emotional regulation, clears metabolic waste, restores energy, and helps regulate many important neurological processes. When sleep becomes chronically disrupted, people often experience poor concentration, mood changes, memory problems, fatigue, increased stress sensitivity, and emotional overwhelm. And unfortunately, stress itself often disrupts stress further, creating a difficult vicious circle. That is why improving sleep habits can sometimes create surprisingly significant improvements in emotional and cognitive well-being over time. Not instantly, but gradually. And brain health is often built gradually. And did you know that the brain is also metabolically very active? It requires energy, 20% of all the energy in your body. Nutrients, a lot of them. Healthy blood flow, a lot. Stable blood sugar. Healthy fats, protein, vitamins, minerals, and many complex biological processes to function well. Now, nutrition is a very large topic, and there's a lot of confusion online today. But broadly speaking, highly processed diets, unstable eating patterns, excessive sugar intake, chronic inflammation, and nutrient deficiency can all affect how people feel mentally and emotionally. And increasingly, research is exploring how nutrition, what we eat and drink, as well as everything else that enters our body through our skin, our eyes, ears, and our senses, influences mood, cognition, thought pattern, inflammation, memory, mental resilience, and overall brain function. Again, this is not about perfection. It is about creating a more supportive internal environment for the brain over time. One of the most fascinating areas of modern research is the gut-brain connection. The gut and brain communicate constantly through the nervous system, immune pathways, hormones, and the gut microbiome. And many people notice that stress affects digestion. You have heard of butterflies in your stomach. That's no coincidence. Pay attention to popular sayings, as they often tell a deeper truth that we often overlook. On the other hand, digestive problems or stomach issues, as I like to say, can also affect your mood, your energy, and emotional well being, to just name a few. And this is one reason modern lifestyle medicine increasingly looks at health from a whole person perspective rather than treating the brain as completely separate from the body. And ancient healing systems always did this. So it seems we finally come full circle and begin to study, appreciate, and eventually integrate the work of ancient sage and masters. Because it's true, human beings are deeply interconnected systems, and often improving one area gently supports many others as well. Movement also plays a major role in brain health. The human brain evolved alongside physical movement, and not every movement has the same effect. The more mindful and purposeful you use your musculoskeletal system, the more beneficial. I call this intentional, intuitive movement. I'm linking my video below where I explain more in detail what I mean by that. But moving your body in any way is helpful as long as you avoid creating new injuries or worsening existing issues. Like I show right now, you can even do it on video. And just to be very clear, my public content on this channel and my websites is purely educational only and meant to inspire and motivate you to move your body and your life more, to love yourself more. And before you start anything more for your own safety, please consult with your individual healthcare provider. But generally speaking, regular movement can support blood flow to the brain, stress regulation, mood, sleep, cognition, and even neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and change over time. And we know now that you are not stuck with the brain you have today. You can make it better. And that applies to any age. You are never too old to start the path to change for the better. And that is the true meaning, the beauty, and the real benefit of neuroplasticity. And when it comes to movement, this does not need to mean perfection or extreme exercise. For many people, simple, consistent movement, walking, stretching, gentle strength training, time outdoors, or daily activity like household chores done mindfully can already make a meaningful difference, especially when combined in a rhythm with rest, with sleep, with stress reduction, and with emotional support. Now, here's one thing that I think modern medicine sometimes overlooks. It is that brain health is not purely biological. Human beings are also emotional, relational, and meaning seeking creatures, and that is often more important than fixing things. For example, we know that loneliness affects health. Purpose and meaning affects health. Relationships affect health. Hope affects health. Chronic emotional stress affects health. Prayer affects health. And increasingly, research continues showing how profound social and emotional factors influence the brain and nervous system. This is why whole person approaches matter. Not because they replace medicine, but because human beings are more than isolated symptoms. Personally, I also believe brain health is connected to something deeper. Our sense of vitality, hope, meaning, and what I often call our sparkle. Not fake positivity, not pretending that life is easy, but the quiet, inner light that helps people continue to climb the mountain of life, even during difficult seasons. Because many people today are not simply physically exhausted, they are emotionally exhausted, spiritually exhausted, mentally overloaded. And part of healing often involves slowly rebuilding emotional resilience and reconnecting with meaning again, sometimes gently, one small step at a time. So if you are struggling with stress, with brain fog, with burnout, with emotional overwhelm, with poor sleep, with low energy, or with mental exhaustion, please do not immediately assume you're weak or broken, because the human brain responds to how we live and how we think. And small daily patterns repeated consistently over time can profoundly affect brain health and emotional well-being. Not overnight, but gradually. And importantly, you do not need to change everything at once. Start where you are. One small supportive step, repeated consistently, is often far more powerful than extreme short-term efforts that cannot be sustained. I'll link the full companion article below if you would like to explore these topics in more detail. And if you enjoy calm educational conversations around brain health, emotional wellness, nervous system regulation, and recovering your sparkle, I'd love to invite you to subscribe and join my free email community and here my YouTube channel as well. Take gentle care of yourself. Bye for now.